it's Miss Sebastian again. Welcome to my studio. So this week I am going to be doing anime and manga style characters, how to draw them. It was a request by a student and I started looking around at all the different things I could show you. I definitely have a week's worth of lessons here. Stay tuned for a super silly riddle at the end of the video. Things that you'll need for this project include paper, a pencil, and a good eraser. All right, so the first thing we need to talk about is drawing heads and faces from different points of view. So the first one we're going to do is a front view. And to do any really of these heads, you need to start off by doing an ovoid. So let's go ahead and do that one first. So we're going to do a front view, which is perhaps the easiest one. And my ovoid kind of looks like an upside down egg. And I start off lightly, and then I press a little harder when I feel like I have reached the shape that I'm looking for my head. All right, next we have to understand proportion. So proportion is how things relate through measurement, through size and placement. So I know approximately in the human head, the eyes are actually located halfway down from the top of the head to the bottom of the chin. And when you're doing manga style or anime, they are exactly the same. For the nose, noses are usually a little bit shorter than typical noses. So typical noses would be halfway between the eyes and the bottom of the chin. But in most manga anime, because the characters are younger, the noses will actually be a little bit shorter than that. So this would be where our nose mark would be, and the mouth mark would probably be down in here. So I have these lines lightly drawn so I can go back and erase them. You might be saying, well, Miss Sebastian, why is there so much room here? Well, I don't know about you, but I've noticed that a lot of these characters have a lot of hair. So about halfway between the top of the head and the line that we're going to do for the eyes, that's where we're going to put our forehead, and the hairline will be right in here, so we'll have lots of hair that comes down. Where do the ears go? The ears are usually located between the eyebrow and the bottom of the nose. So somewhere in this area here is going to be our ears. I know right now he looks a little bit like an alien, but don't worry, he'll start to look more like an anime manga style when we put some more details in there. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some eyes. So I know that probably a good finger space in between, usually you would say where the nostrils were, you'd go up and that would be the corner or inside of the eyes. But I'm gonna make mine very nice and big. And I won't necessarily have to do the complete outline of the eyes. I might only do part of it for this one. This is going to be a boy. I'll show you how to do a girl in a moment. So I'm going to try to imitate that same shape on the other side to try to have some symmetry to this. And again, have a good eraser for this is real important because artists always spend time revising their work. All right, and then they have super big irises and pupils. So, and then I'm gonna kind of make those half circle lines inside. Again, if you need to go back and erase something, do that. I know that they have very fancy insides of their eyes that might have highlights in them, white circles or ovals. Sometimes they're even outlined. Sometimes it's a little darker at the top of it and then kind of lightens as it goes down. Maybe something like that. I can press harder to make it get darker. And then I'm going to go ahead and do similar over here too. So have a big highlight here, have a highlight here, and here would be that pupil, and then it's going to be darker at the top and have it get lighter the further down it gets. nice dark outline. Make sure that eyelid's nicely darkened. And then for their noses, oh my gosh, don't you just love anime noses? Easiest in the world. For this guy, I am just going to do a little line here, and it's just going to have a little shadow like that. Done. Boy mouth, super easy to do. Sometimes they're just a line. I'm going to add a little corners to his mouth. Usually those corners will line up underneath the pupils as well. If that kind of gives you an idea, you can line it up and see if it does. And then we're just going to do the bottom lip, because usually girls will have the fancy upper lips. Maybe even do a little smudge there with your finger. Okay, and now for the hair. So we know there's going to be a hairline here. I'm going to do a part down his head like this, and then we're going to make him have some long kind of bangs that swooshes. And by the way, how do you get this kind of hairstyle? Usually your hairdresser will use a razor. The razor splits the ends of your hair and makes it more stick out like that. Making sure those ears line up. Of course, if you wanted to make him into an elf like Link from Legend of Zelda, you can add pointy ends to his ears. Did a little bit of erasing just to show where his hair comes in front of his eyes. Oh, we need some eyebrows now. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here, and they're just gonna kind of angle upward. And then we're gonna do one here. And eyebrows are really great for showing emotion in the face. All right, anywhere else that needs to be a little darkened. And then I'll add his neck, comes out from an extension of his jawline. If you have too many lines for the hair, just go back and simplify it. All right, not too bad. We're ready to do a girl now. All right, for the girl, we're going to have her in a 3/4 pose, which means her head's slightly turned. You can only see 3/4 of her face. Again, we do start off with that ovoid, but now the ovoid has shifted. So we're gonna just kind of do a shifting, like it's just been turned at the bottom a little bit. And the rules will still apply for her head, in that we still need to line up her eyes, nose, and mouth in the proper locations. All right, so the tip has been moved over more to the side, and it's a little straighter here on top. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. We're ready to move on to the lines for eyes, nose, and mouth. So halfway down, eyes. Halfway down, that's about where her mouth is going to be. Maybe a little lower. It looks a little better for her mouth. And her ears now are a little different. They're going to be set further back here. So I'm gonna again just mark a light line where I think approximately they're gonna be. I can always move them. I'm also gonna go ahead and put in her eyebrow a little bit here. You're not gonna see all the eyebrow on this side because again, her head's turned slightly. All right, so I'm gonna have a line that comes down here, and then her nose is a little more pointed. Sometimes there'll be a shadow line on the outside of it. Something like that. And then this eye is gonna come out, and she's gonna have some long eyelashes because she's a girl. But we're still gonna see really big irises and pupils for that. For her mouth, we're going to have it be slightly open. Maybe she's giving a little bit of a smile here to us. We don't have to do every single line. Again, we could leave off that upper lip if we wanted to. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in hers. She's got highlights also. It's going to be darker at the top and get lighter the further down you go. Make sure everything has a good outline. Add in some eyelashes. Just a few really bold lines is really all you need for this. You may even put a few on her bottom on the outside. Usually not seen so much on the inside. You might even have a crease where her eyelid is. And then she's gonna have very small, very outlined eyebrows. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do her big eye over here. Big highlight, pupils, another highlight, more eyelash on the outside edge than on the inside. Darker at the top for her iris. And again, we want one of those very thin, arching. Maybe it needs to go up a little higher. There we go. That's better. Okay, and now we need to put in her hairline. So we know her hairline's going to be somewhere in here. So now we can do some hair. Her part's going to be really far over on the side. And then we're going to give her some hair. Okay. A little bit of a cheek. then scale that back down to her chin. Give her a little bit of a neck. Sometimes it helps just to kind of do several of those lines to see which one looks the best. I think that one's pretty good there. Add a few little pointy lines down near the bottom, some even on her face. Have some of that hair covering up her ear. Just have a few little impressions of lines just to give the people who are looking at it a point of contact. Oh yeah, that must be where the ear is located. And then erase any lines you don't need. Make darker any lines that you need to make darker. All right, so there's my basic front view of a boy and a 3/4 view of a girl. Let's look at some other head shapes. All right, so we're gonna do a profile view now. So with a profile view, again, you kind of want to do it a little bit like the 3/4 view that we just did with the ovoid or head shape, kind of like this, but maybe even turned more so. And then I want to think about how there will be a straight line, and if this is where the eyes are going to be, about halfway down, and we know the nose is going to be somewhere above that mouth line, then I know I need to make the nose start to come out, and it's going to curve around for the lips and then come back down for the chin. And you can make that nose bigger or smaller, change the shape a little bit. And then I know that his forehead is going to go like that. And then we want to do a side view eye. The side view eye is going to be something more like that, with kind of a straight line for where the iris and the pupil would sit. You know, you don't have to do all the complete outline. So we're just going to take that out, and we're going to put in, again, have a highlight. This time it's a little bit harder to do just because of how it's turned. Erase that. We need some eyebrows. We don't have to put any line over here for a nostril, but like I said, you can still keep playing with the shape of that nose to get it just the way you want it to look. And then for the mouth line, this is a boy, so we're just gonna make a line, have a little corner here. Make sure that we have his chin defined. So I just made a small modification there. Then his jawline's gonna come up and his ear's gonna sit pretty far back on his head. Not exactly realistic here, but definitely playing on some exaggerated proportions for the anime style. All right, so we're gonna have his hairline here, and we're gonna do hair again. Just a few big swoops. If you're not real confident with those, start by drawing something smaller. It's easier to do the swoops then. We're gonna have his neck sit kind of far back here. If it's a boy, give him a little bit maybe of an Adam's apple. And sometimes fewer lines is better, I think, for hair. All right, so this ear is going to be a little more complicated. We're just going to do a little shape that kind of looks like that, maybe. Again, just to give the illusion or impression. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a slightly different pose. This pose is going to be an upturned pose. So this one would be like if your character was looking upward. So the egg shape we're going to do is now a little pointier up at the top than it is at the bottom. Again, I always start off with sort of a light, kind of a searching line here, trying to figuring out which line is going to be the best, most symmetrical one. All right, not too bad there. I think we're going to go ahead and move onward. Okay, so now things are a little different here. The chin is going to be here. Our eye line is a lot higher up. And then our mouth line is going to be halfway kind of in between those two. So let's go ahead and put these in here. Half circles again for the eyes. Outline for the pupil, highlight, highlight. Darker at the top, lighter the further down you go. And it's okay to leave those little lines showing in the eye there. That is a-okay. Few eyelashes because she's a girl. And we can put a couple on the outside here too. Same thing here. Nice dark outline for the pupil. Highlight, highlight. Darker at the top. And then give her some nice dark eyelashes. Make sure those lines are nice and dark. All right, and then she'll need her eyebrows. All right, and then she'll need her nose, so we're gonna put her nose, I think right about in here. A shadow, and then for her mouth, just an outline here of maybe an upper lip. And then give that little bit of shadow underneath her bottom one. And this will make her ears also really go down pretty far. I'm also going to modify the shape a little bit here of her face, I've decided. I know usually the way the bones are, it goes inward for the eyes and then comes out a little bit more for the cheeks. So now that I know exactly where those eyes are, I can kind of bring that line in and then bring it out for her cheeks a little bit. All right, now this is going to be her chin. So I'm going to make that, you know, I can decide if I want to bring that inward a little bit. Like I've decided maybe this is too much down here. Bring it up a little bit. All right. Add some shadow. And then her ears are going to be a lot further down. And then we need some hair. All right, and there is the upturned look. All right, so now we're gonna do some facial expressions. I would say most of our expressions were fairly happy or content ones. So now we're gonna do a couple others. So with this one here, we're gonna start off with the basic shape. Add a neck. This one's gonna be surprise, so we're gonna make the eyes really large here. Much more larger than they would be normally. And the pupils are going to have a few highlights in them, but they're gonna be much smaller. Still have a nice dark outline. If it's a girl, you can add some eyelashes. Have some very curving eyebrows. Nose might be a good bit higher up. And then you might have a slight, oh, kind of surprise there. We're going to bring in the eye, out the cheek. Add a little bit of hair. All right, that'll give you a real basic one on that. All right, so now we're gonna do the angry one. So here's an angry one. We're gonna turn like this. More of a 3/4 there. A little flatter. And we're going to have the eyes on the larger side, but then those eyebrows are going to be really low there. Again, smaller pupils. Kind of a little downturned mouth. All right, so now we're going to do the sad expression. Eye shape's a little more different. That top line is a little bowed the other way. And then you'll have really nice big eyes. And the eyebrows will be kind of turned that way. Make sure you add a big highlight in that eye. May even have a little bit of tears at the bottom here. Again, a little nose. And then we'll have the little mouth. And you may even have like a hand up here. Just a real basic one. Ear showing here. So there is my sad one, and I'll just do a couple others for you. All right, so the next two we're going to do are Dreamy and Winky. So we're gonna go ahead and let's do the one where it looks like maybe she's doing some daydreaming. Because I think some of the earlier ones I looked more like the determined look. So I think that would be good for those. So this one will require to have some hands on there. So I want to be thinking about where they're going to be in the picture and just sort of block them in as a basic shape for right now. Eyes, mouth, nose. Okay. It's going to be her shoulder line. And then we're going to do the little bit of the blush. Now I can work on those hands a little bit more. All right, and then my last one is going to be the winking eye. So here we go. This is a 3/4 view. Next, going to go down here. Okay, then the winking eye. The hairline was a little too high, I think. There we go. All right, here's some different hairstyles. Draw the hairline. This is kind of standing straight up. You might be familiar with this, like from Dragon Ball Z, for example. This is going to be brushed down. This one might be more wavy. Lots of little C's back and forth for that one. Parted in the middle. look longer. Maybe a small ponytail. Okay, so we're gonna do a few poses here for the girls for their hair. So I'm gonna do kind of ringlets here, and she's gonna have a pretty little bow in her hair, and there'll be a little bit of one showing over here too. And then we're gonna have her ringlets come down. I'm just going to make these kind of diagonal lines in them. Alright, now on to my next one. She's going to have a side pony. Part on the side. Maybe she'll have a few bangs. It's all going to go here, so I know I need to make that. So this one's going to have a headband. This one is going to have a part down the middle with some bangs. Sometimes you end those long hairstyles with a straight line in certain sections. Gives it more of that really blunt kind of a cut. And then we're going to do the bun. So for to do little buns. Really want that hairline to curve down where the ears would be. Go from the bun to the part. Maybe have a few wispies. Hair that's escaped from the bun. Oh, I hope you enjoyed doing heads today with me. There certainly is a lot, eyes, nose, mouth included. So today I have a super silly riddle for you, and it is, what is bright orange with green on top and sounds like a parrot? A carrot. Parrot, carrot, it's bright orange with green on top. All right, so stay tuned for tomorrow's video when we do figures in the manga anime style. Can't wait for that one. And of course, don't forget that you need to be kind to everyone you meet, love on your family, and keep doing great art. Until tomorrow, bye.